Avatar: The Last Airbender AAA game in development at Space Marines 2 Studio Saber Interactive. After a successful turn in Warhammer 40k universe, Saber Interactive is turning its eyes towards making a AAA Avatar game. So I'm a big Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, the original cartoon. I love it. I grew up with it for the most part. And it was one of those things that when they were doing the live action, honestly, I had zero interest in watching it. The story is pretty much perfect in my mind the way it is, and I don't feel like the live action would be able to actually do anything that would make it better than what the cartoon already was. And we've already had the experience with that when M. Night Shyamalan's stupid ass came out with the movie that was horrible. I've never watched it. I refuse after seeing how much they butchered the original cartoon. So, with that being said, with them coming out with a game for Avatar: The Last Airbender, I would be a little bit happier if some of the stuff we find out isn't the case. So we'll go ahead and get into this and we'll read the article and I'll give my thoughts as we go along. So Paramount Game Studios and Saber Interactive have officially confirmed that a AAA game is set in the universe of Avatar: The Last Airbender, is in development, currently in production. The game is being produced in collaboration with Avatar Studios, a division launched by the show's original creator, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Back in 2021, so the IP could expand through multiple forms of media. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, there was an Avatar: The Last Airbender game that came out. I believe it was like last year. And honestly, it was fucking trash. It was one of those things that you played it. It honestly looked like it was like a PS2 game with like modern day game, like on a modern day system. So it got a lot of criticism. It got a lot of pushback because people were pissed, and rightly so. It was one of those things like when you think about it, like Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the best IPs in my opinion in in media history. I love it so much. I think it's such a great story. I love the characters. I love the story. Like it's phenomenal in my mind. So the fact that they haven't been able to make a game that has like true heart and is what the show originally was, it's extremely disappointing. I've seen some people out there that have actually tried making their own Avatar: The Last Airbender game that have had more success than what, actual studios have been able to produce. So when I hear this information, part of me is a little bit excited, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know. We'll see where this goes. So we'll continue on. The company behind the games are calling it the biggest video game in franchise history. And personally, I really don't like that statement at all. It's one of those things, like, I get it. You want to hype the game up, you want people to get excited for it. But when you say stuff like that, that just sounds like a big false promise to me. The biggest video game franchise, biggest video game in franchise history, because there's been so many franchises out there that have video games based on them. When you think of like superhero genres and then horror genres and stuff like that, Resident Evil, the Batman franchise, The Legend of Zelda, those are huge like franchises on their own. So to come out and be like, oh, it's going to be the biggest franchise in video game history, that leaves me a little bit like like a little bit skeptical. You know what I mean? So I'll continue on. And while details are slim right now, it has been confirmed that it will focus on a all new, never before seen avatar, and is set thousands of years in the past of the Avatar Legends universe, not to be confused with James Cameron's blockbuster movie franchise. No one gives a fuck about that. Avatar tells the story of a world where humanity has learned to harness the four elements, primary elements of nature. So yeah. And then we know for loyal fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender has been eager to for more stories that bring them into the universe of the show. And through gaming, we are able to expand the world building and allow fans to experience the new content in a completely immersive way, said Doug Rosen, SVP, Games and Emerging Media at Paramount, IGN. Saber Interactive has a proven track record in bringing IP-based games to life, and we are excited to co-fund this AAA title alongside them and let fans experience the world firsthand. This isn't the first time that an Avatar game has been produced, as several tie-in games were released on a variety of systems over the years. The most highly profitable one, based on the Last Airbender sequel series, The Legend of Korra, was developed by Platinum Games and received mixed reviews when it was released in 2014. Meanwhile, the Avatar universe was steadily grown over the last couple of years. A new live-action series launched on Netflix earlier this year and has already been renewed for several more seasons. An animated film tentatively titled Aang the Last Airbender is set to be released in early 2026 and will reunite the original show's cast for new adventures. Beyond that, Avatar Studios is looking for a new animated series set after The Legend of Korra and more animated spin offs. Now, in regards to this last portion here, as much as I love Avatar The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra was. I know that was a mixed bag. There's some stuff I like about it. There's some that I haven't. I never watched the whole series. I watched the first season, some of the second, and I believe some of the third. But from what it sounds like, I personally don't really want them to do anything with this franchise anytime soon. We've gotten so many different examples of them working on franchises recently where they'll just shit on it. They pretty much they ruin it or they decide to make changes to it that aren't necessary. And that was a big reason why I never watched the live action show to begin with. When I heard that the original creators left because of creative differences, that's when I knew I was done. That's when I knew I was out. If they're not going to be involved in that, I have no interest whatsoever. They're going to be involved with this, which is, that is a little bit of a plus on that side. But at the same time, I personally would prefer to have an Avatar The Last Airbender game where you play as the original, as you play as the Aang and the original gang. So with them doing that, I mean, I'll maybe check it out once some trailers are released and everything like that. But I really personally wish that they would make a game. I can't remember which Dragon Ball game it was, but there was a Dragon Ball game that came out a few years ago where it was pretty much you play through the show itself. So if they were able to do that with Avatar The Last Airbender, I feel like that would be so great. If they were able to incorporate the cartoonish look that you have from the original show and then be able to have it so that you can play through the actual story from the show itself. If they were to do something like that, I think that would be phenomenal. I think it'd be so cool and it'd be so fun to actually go through. With them doing a new Avatar, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, can we actually get a good Avatar: The Last Airbender game first before we start moving on to other avatars and everything like that? So I'm a little bit skeptical with this. I don't know where this is gonna go exactly. So I'm trying to keep a positive mindset. But from how many IPs we've had that have gotten ruined in the past, I'm like I said, I'm skeptical and I'm gonna just be a little bit wary of where this is gonna go. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you guys looking forward to something like this coming out, a new Avatar game where you're not playing as Aang, where you're gonna play as a different Avatar in the past? Or would you prefer that we actually had an Avatar: The Last Airbender video game, like I said, kind of like in the vein of Dragon Ball? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys can like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.